Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. Who's doing the glorification today?
We know, yes. We know.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam to Vishakha Mataji and Supriya Mataji and all the devotees present here. Please accept my heartful gratitude for your time, support and patience. You helped me from weakness to strength, from grace to grace, from nothing to something. The knowledge you have imparted upon me has been a great asset throughout my spiritual progress. I am thankful to Krishna that he blessed me with a family and friends, my Nandini friends also, who loves me, support me and inspire me always. I would like to give special gratitude to my mother-in-law, who saw the seeds of Krishna Bhakti in me and continues to be my pillar of strength and support me till date. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for keeping us spiritually secure through your teachings and for your sacrifice in giving us Krishna consciousness to this world. As it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.19.36, every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So, we should always have an attitude of gratitude in our daily life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So nice, so sweet. Very nice, beautiful. Attitude of gratitude is very important. Yeah, in material and even more in spiritual. So, very important. Yeah.
She quoted Bhagavatam, Mataji. She quoted Bhagavatam. Wow.
Imagine that. Imagine that. How nice. How our lives, Bhagavatam just changes our lives, isn't it?
Yes.
How nice. Beautiful. Vishaka, you're like a proud mother today.
Yeah, I have no words.
It's like when your child takes the first or says the first word, it's like, what? Say that again.
I'm going to hear it again in the recording.
Nice, so nice. So, so Hare Krishna, devotees, dear devotees, let's get back into Bhagavatam. Today we've got very, very sweet and very important verses. So we stopped at 12 last time, yes?
Yes, Mother.
Yes.
Anybody wants to just give 1 or 2 points? 1 or 2 points only. one point at least from what you have taken away last week. So just a little bit of getting back what we've learned.
Can I?
Yes, please.
The most important takeaway was from verse 10 that the human body is meant only for inquiring about the absolute truth. It is not meant for sense gratification, and only inquiry about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is what we were meant to be for. We have not come here for sense gratification, and that we should desire only a healthy life and enough just for self-preservation.
Perfect. You've said Srila Prabhupada's words ditto. This is what Srila Prabhupada has said, and you've said it ditto. Well done. Yes, Anuradha Mataji.
In this verse, it is also quoted that we should be careful about what and from where we are listening and from whom we are listening.
Very important. And this is also, you must be very careful because you say, so Bhagavatam teaches you that you learn spiritual sounds from a bona fide parampara, from a devotee. But we don't choose or we don't give that much discretion in material sounds. We listen to any rubbish which comes, which actually, what does it do? It contaminates our hearts. Through our ears, it goes into our minds and then contaminates our hearts. And then what do? We get more attached to sense gratification. Yeah, so be very careful that even though Bhagavatam says you must listen, so what Bhagavatam means is that everything else you shouldn't listen to. You must try to withdraw yourself from material sounds. Filmy songs, Purani Gane, Antakshari. Try to minimize it, right? Try to move away from that and only try to listen to bhajans which are written by acharyas. That's also very important, because what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? That whatever Swarup Damodar approved, the bhajans or the verses, whatever was written, all these words written by the acharyas are just like the Vedas. They're non-different to the Vedas. So try to, if you're singing bhajans, try to sing bhajans from the acharyas, from our line of disciplic succession, and mostly stick to Mahamantra. The more you start singing, you feel like singing. I'm sure all of us love to sing while we're cooking, while we're having a bath, or while we're driving. Sing the kirtan. Pick a nice tune which affects you or you like and sing. Yes, Vaiji Mataji.
Hare Krishna. When you said Antakshari, right? I read somewhere, Antakshari of the Bhagavad Gita verses and Bhagavatam verses.
Yes.
Somewhere, right, in my dream also I had that. And I'm like, I would like to be, part of something like that.
Yes,
so my takeaway from all this is 1.2.11. Advayam, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdaye. So we should go for the absolute truth. And what is the absolute truth? It is all three, actually. That is the non-dualist Brahman, then the super soul in our heart, and then Bhagavan. That is Brahman, Bhagavan, and I think it's Paramatma and Bhagavan. Although all three are qualitatively similar, qualitatively our ultimate goal should be Bhagavan, because he's the one who's complete. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Perfect. One of the most important and most quoted verses in your spiritual life will be this. Every time there will be a reference to Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Even when you come to the second canto and the third canto and we read about Sarga, Visarga, the primary creation, the secondary creation, every time this question will come up. Because why? Because Srila Prabhupada is very, very clear that we are not impersonalists, we are personalists, right? Even in a relationship, even in our families, we don't like impersonal relationship, right? We're very personal with our relationship. So that's how we have to be even with the Lord, and that's how the Lord wants us. We are in this particular parampara because we are predestined to go to Golok Vrindavan. Please remember that you are not here by chance. You did not choose. You were chosen to be here because of your past activities and sukriti, right? So this is what, when you leave your body, what goes with you? Your pious deeds, your sinful deeds, and your sukriti. These three things are there. For pious, you go to the heavenly, upper heavenly planets, to enjoy. For your sinful, you go lower to be punished. And sukriti is where you can go forward in your devotional service. Right? Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharpasya Trayati Mahato. Swalpa, yeah, even a little is credited. So it's only because of so much of credit that you are here and you're listening to a certain parampara. It's just think about it. You could be anywhere in the world, yeah, and you could be listening to any other parampara, but you're chosen, you're predestined to meet Vishaka Mataji and be here to listen this parampara. So don't take it too lightly. So even these verses which we're going to do today talks a lot about the importance of Bhagavatam. So we will start with 13. Okay, can someone chant the verses which we start with for Bhagavatam? Anyone remembers? Teji, is your hand up for that? Or from before?
From before.
Okay. So, okay, then why don't one of you just chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times? Anyone?
Okay, I'll do that since you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam
Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaivam
Chaiva Narotamam.
Devim saraswatim vyasam
Vyasam tato jayamudiraye.
nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata
Bhagavata
sevaya
Sevayam.
bhagavati uttama shloke
Okay.
bhaktir bhavati naishtiki.
Bhaktir bhavati naishtaki.
Thank you very much. That was nice. Let me share. And I would like it that all of you remember these verses so that even before you start reading Bhagavatam at home, you can chant these verses. Okay, so 1.2.13. So last week in the previous verse, we also talked about Jnana and Vairagya, right? So these are the two things which is required, right? Jnana, which is knowledge, Vairagya, which is detachment, and renunciation. And you can see that when you start your devotional service, both appear to you slowly and naturally, Jnana and Vairagya. So we are not going to be whimsical or sentimental about it and say that, okay, let me just leave everything and move to Vrindavan and be there. That's not what anyone suggests. Even Krishna did not suggest that to Arjuna. We stay where we are, we continue with our dharma as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, but we keep Krishna in the center. So here in this verse, okay, someone can repeat after me, please. Ata pumbhir dvija shrestha
Ataha kumbhe dvija shrestha.
varnashrama vibhagashaha
Varnashrama vibhagashaha.
svanushthitasya dharmasya
Svanashtitasya dharmasya.
samsiddhir haritoshanam.
Sansiddhi haritoshanam.
Can you read the translation as well?
Sure. O best among the 24, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead.
Yes. So the highest perfection is by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation. Right? Anyone remembers the verse from Bhagavad Gita talking about the Varnas?
Is it Chatur Varnya Maya Srishtam?
Yes, very good. Chaturvarnam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha.
Vibhagashaha.
Vibhagashaha.
Yes.
Tasya
So-
kartaramaphi mam. Sorry.
Yes. Go ahead, please. Tasya?
Kartaramaphi mam. I think Nitya Yukta Upashate.
No.
No.
Okay. That's fine. So our main thing is we'll just focus on Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So you are divided into these not by birth, but according to your gunas and karmas. So the 4 orders. So which are the 4 ashramas and what are the 4 varnas? What are the 4 ashrams and what are the 4 varnas?
Brahmacharya ashram, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyasa ashram.
Correct. Those are the 4 ashrams. And which are the 4 varnas?
Shudra,
Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya.
Kshatriya, Shudra, Kshatriya, Vaishnava, no, Kshatriya, Brahman, Vaishya, Vaishnava and Shudra.
Not Vaishnav, Vaishya. Okay,
Vaishya.
so it's Brahman,
Vaishya
Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra.
and Shudra.
Yeah. Okay. So human society is all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders. So you may think that this is only in the Hindu society. No, it is not. It is because it is according to your gunas and karmas. The same gunas will be there everywhere, and the same karmas, whatever you do, will be there everywhere. Right? So according to that, you are given a particular kind of duty to perform, right? And this is the work and qualification. Again, Srila Prabhupada says over here, not by birth. Now, this has been twisted by people, and then that's why there is so much of rift happening in society, because it's become a birth right, which is not what the scriptures say. Now, according to that, if you are working, then what is the goal of it? So the whole aim is to achieve the favor of Lord Vishnu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Param. So those who do deity worship will understand that we always chant this verse, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Right? This is from the Rig Veda. So if you are doing a duty, the goal is not for, as we said, for our own sense gratification. The goal is to achieve, to reach Lord Vishnu. Vishnu, Krishna is the same thing, right? So in 7th canto, 5th chapter, there is Na te vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. There is no other swartha other than achieving Vishnu. Right? Who says this? Of course, Prahlad Maharaj. So 7th canto is Prahlad Maharaj. So any verse is quoted from there will be Prahlad Maharaj or Narad Muni. So you must always think in that way. So in the meeting of Naimisharanya also, all these sages who were there, they were the best of the Brahmanas and the best of the Kshatriyas and the best of the Vaishyas. They were all assembled there. So who were the best of the Kshatriyas? Parikshit Maharaj, his son, the whole world, all. Who are the best of the Brahmanas? All those sages assembled there. Yeah, and even the Devatas who don't come into this. So all of them were assembled there, and they were listening to the Bhagavatam. So now, what is twice born? Dvijas, twice born. Why do we call them twice born? So Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they are supposed to be twice born. Why are we called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are called twice born? Is because one birth is given when you're born to the father and mother. And the second birth is given when the Guru accepts you. So therefore, what does the Guru give you? Vedic knowledge, right? So therefore, in any civilization, any civilized society, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are supposed to be, are meant to be twice born, right? And even Vaishyas are twice born. Only the Shudras are once born. Why? Because that was how it was. Because the Brahmanas would teach the others. Kshatriyas were meant to be twice born because they were leaders, they were administrators. But a Shudra was meant to do all kinds of other work, and they were not inclined to learning Vedic knowledge. So they were not. So therefore the conclusion is that what is it? When we talk about now in Kali Yuga, there is nobody is towards or even inclined towards taking Vedic knowledge, going to a Gurukul, getting approaching a Guru, or becoming a twice born. What are we more interested in is material. So what is this? Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. So Kalau means Kali Yuga. We are all Shudras unless and until we approach a Guru. right? So practically there are no Brahmanas and there are no Kshatriyas and there are no Vaishyas. Also, if you think practically, Brahmana would only teach, right? He was above even the king, and he would be the instructor for the king also. A Kshatriya would be the administrator, Vaishya would manage all the trade and business, and mainly was a Go Rakshak, right? Farming and go, that is taking care of cows. But if you see now, and only a Shudra would work for others. Now we are all working for others, right? Do we fall in any of these categories? No, we don't. So in Kali Yuga, it's very rare to find a proper Brahmin. A Brahmin is supposed to take things from charity from the king. The king would give everything, his entire kingdom in charity to the Brahmin. But the Brahmin would return it to the king for safekeeping, and the Brahmin would live as a pauper. That was the duty of a Brahmin. He would not be attached, but we don't see all that here. So then, what is so special about Kali Yuga is that when someone becomes Krishna conscious, it does not matter which ashram, which varna you're from. Whether you're Brahmin or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra or Brahmachari, or Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, a woman, a man, nothing matters. Yeah. So anyone, tepi yanti param gatim. Anyone can be elevated to the platform of to the highest platform of perfection just by becoming Krishna conscious. That is Krishna's special favor in this yuga. Yeah. Ordinarily, that is not the case. But this is the formula for Kali Yuga. So we are extremely, extremely lucky that we don't have to do too much. Right? So what is that? So the normally, what is it? It's Ata Pumbhir Dvija Shreshta Varnashrama Vibhagashaha. Right? Where is it? Ata Pumbhir Dvija Shreshta Varnashrama Vibhagashaha. This is what the Varnashram division is. But does it matter if you're in Krishna consciousness? No, it doesn't. Yeah. Swanushthasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Everyone must not be interested in anything else but perfection of life. So what is the perfection of life over here? It is given here. Haritoshanam is your perfection of life. Yeah. So what is this verse telling us? This is the only purpose of Varnashram. What is the only purpose of Varnashram? Haritoshanam, to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You can be in any Varna, you can be in any ashrama, you can be in any male bodies, female body, doesn't matter. But it should satisfy Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or any Vishnu Tattva, they are all the same. Yeah, but we are going to focus on Krishna, right? Like I said last time, Vasudev, Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, right? So if you simply satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you satisfy everyone else, like watering the root of the tree. You satisfy the Devatas, you satisfy the Prithvi, the Vayu, everything. Right? So I'm going to tell you a small story now. How Haritoshanam. I'm going to stop sharing because when I narrate a story, I like to see everyone. So we know the story, I'm sure, of Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni once went to Hastinapur, and Duryodhan fed him very nicely, took care of him very nicely, because he knew that Durvasa Muni, when he gets angry, gets extremely angry. But when he gets benevolent, he gets extremely benevolent. He'll give you all kinds of curses, but he'll also give you all kinds of blessings, right? We all know the story, but I'm still going to say this. So, but what was Duryodhan's intent? To please Durvasa Muni in such a way so that he can get some benediction. So he said, so Durvasa was very pleased. So he said, ask me for whatever benediction you want. And that is actually Brahmins are supposed to do that. They're supposed to bless you. So Duryodhana said, not now. You're here for some time. I'll ask you when I want to. So now Pandavas were all in the forest. So Duryodhana thought this is a good time. So he goes to Durvasa Muni just as he was leaving and says that, my dear Durvasa Muni, I want a benediction. So he said, yes, yes, sure, tell me, what do you want? He's saying, see, you blessed me so much, you know, and, you are such a exalted Brahmin. I don't want my brothers to be devoid of your blessing. Please, can you visit the Pandavas and take your disciples also, so that the more Brahmanas go, the more they will be blessed, right? We all know that Brahman's blessing. So, and Durvasa Muni had 60,000 disciples always with him. So he said, please go. So they go. I know everyone knows the story, but I love telling the story. And in fact, my Prabhu tells the second part of the story also. So I'll tell you that also. So Durvasa Muni then goes and he says, okay, how can I deny that? And okay, I'll go. And then he somehow arranged in such a way that Durvasa Muni reached the Pandavas' kutir in the forest just as lunch finished. So, you know, Draupadi had the Akshar Patra, right? Akshar Patra. So, and we know that once Draupadi eats, then for that day, the Akshar Patra stops giving any more food. And she had just finished eating. And Durvasa Muni arrives, and then he says that, come with my 60,000 disciples, Yudhishthir Maharaj, you must serve us. So now the Pandavas are like, okay, what do we do? So he said, okay, I'm going to the Ganges. I'll have my bath and come, you keep it ready. So they said, how can we deny, as Kshatriyas, how can we deny Brahmanas anything? So what arrangement will we do? We are in the forest. So they were very, very perplexed. So whom did they think of? Obviously, their dear Krishna. So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter? Kaunteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranashyati. Correct? His devotees are always protected. So they were all very perplexed. So then they explained, yeah, Krishna somehow reached there. They explained, Draupadi explained. So he said, okay, bring the pot, give me whatever. She says, there's nothing. There's nothing. She says, just bring, you know, so just find something and bring. So then in the pot, they saw that, I mean, there are two versions. There's one version which says that there was one grain of rice, and another version says that there was one tiny piece of shark, palak was there. So whatever, Krishna has that. And then suddenly, what happened? Durvasa Muni and all his disciples suddenly started burping. Why? Because Krishna says, Tasmin tushto jagat tushto. Tasmin tushto jagat tushto. If I am satisfied, jagat is tushto. Jagat is also satisfied. So he said, we can't take any more food. Let's go from here. Let's go from here. So anyone knows the second part of the story? Do you know the ending? Anyone knows the second part? No? Yes or no?
Please tell.
I want to know if anyone knows the second part. Okay, so now he understood that Krishna has done his magic. So he goes right in time when Durvasa Muni was running away with his 60,000 disciples, and he says, where are you going? Prabhu, come, please come. You know, Bhim also, even, you know, we always have this thing about him being very angry and all that, but he's very naughty because he's after all Hanuman's brother, right? So he says, where are you going? Come, have prasadam. He's saying, no, please, I'm too full. We are too full. Please, let us go. Okay, we'll give you a benediction. So he says that, you know, Bhim was a voracious eater, right? We've learned that in Bhagavad Gita, Vikrotara. So he says that, okay, give me a benediction that I eat, but someone else has to digest it. I don't have a problem. So he says, okay, who? He says, I love my brother. So I will eat, but Duryodhan has to digest it. Durvasa and his Hari says, yes, 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 granted, granted, and just leave me, I'm running away. He runs away. So what does Bhim do? He takes a big pot of red chilies and he has it. And who has to digest it?
Duryodhana.
Duryodhan. So Duryodhan was sitting in the toilet for I don't know how many ages. So another reason for Duryodhan to hate Bhim. Yeah. So the point over here is that if you can satisfy Krishna, if Krishna says, all right, everything is all right, bas, that's it. That's all you need. So that is the Krishna conscious movement which Srila Prabhupada has given us. Somehow or other, you satisfy Krishna. Tam siddhir hari toshanam. Forget about the other 3 lines of Varnashram Dharma in this verse. It is not related to us. The only thing you have to focus on is Hari Toshanam. Then you will have perfection. Very simple method. You satisfy Krishna and your life is perfected. Is that so simple? Isn't it so too simple? Yeah. So that's all we need, right? And that's what Bhagavatam says. Okay, let me share my screen again. Yes. Hari Toshanam. Sam Siddhir Hari Toshanam. So herein the statement of Bhagavatam is that the highest aim of life or the highest perfection of the institution of Varnashram Dharma is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Yes? Okay. Very, very important verse. Therefore, this verse starts with Tasmad. Therefore, which means that now this is the conclusion of this verses come up till now. Right? Okay, someone can repeat after me, please. Tasmad ekena manasa.
Tasmad ekena manas. Vinu, go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Bhagavan.
Tasmad.
Sorry.
Tasmad ekena manasa.
Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi.
Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi.
Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha.
Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha.
Dhyeya Pujaschya Nityada.
Dheya Pujyasya cha Nityada.
Okay. Tasmat, therefore, ekena, one, manasa, attention of the mind. Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi. That is, Pati means protector. Yeah. हम पति को protector मानते हैं? Why do I need to be protected? Satvatam, yeah, the protector of the devotees. Shrotavya is to be heard. Kirtitavya, to be glorified. And Dhyeya, to be remembered. Puja, to be worshipped. When? Nityada, constantly. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of devotees. I want someone to please read the translation again because it's very important. Anyone?
Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees.
Yes. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how there is so much propaganda and there is nationalism and there is, Hinduism and thisism and thatism, and, you don't need all that. Okay. We have to please focus on the main points of the shloka. One pointed attention. What does that mean? Don't look anywhere else. Oh, she is going for this guru, she is going for that thing. I mean, I don't want to name it and mention it. This process, that process. One pointed attention, if you are worshipping Krishna, only listen to that. But again, from an authentic parampara, right? And what should you do? You should constantly, nityada, constantly, not just once a day, constantly, something or the other you must always keep doing to remember him, to hear about him, to glorify him, to worship him. And how is it very easy? Just follow what Srila Prabhupada has given, the morning program, the evening program, the Bhagavatam classes, the Bhagavad Gita classes, NOD classes, chanting. If you just follow what the process which Srila Prabhupada has given, you will be doing this nityada, constantly. And as you are purified and as the transformation is more and more, you will do it, you will increase what you're doing. The attachment to the holy names is one, or the attachment to hearing Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord. These are all parameters of checking whether the process is actually working or not. For example, there are so many examples of Tasmad Ekena Manasa in Bhagavatam. So you will see later in the later cantos, the Prachetas. The Prachetas were the son of Swayambhuva Manu, and before they were asked to take over the kingdom, they went to the forest for austerities. Only when you finish austerities will you be given a responsibility. There they were instructed by Lord Shiva, who gave them the instruction, and then for 10,000 years they were within water. They were standing and they underwent austerity. Then they came back and they took charge of their kingdom. Kshatriya, Dvijas. So what did they do? Ekena Manasa, they were just concentrating on the lotus feet of Lord, of Krishna. Then the second example, Dhruva Maharaj. All of you know the story of Dhruva Maharaj. I don't need to tell you. What did this little boy do? He got instruction from Narad Muni. He actually got instructions from his mother, and then she said, only Krishna can help you. He said, okay, I'll focus on him. Narad Muni said, no, you're too small. He's saying, no, he's just 5 years old, but he left home. He was determined to see the Lord. And then within 6 months, what did he do? He got darshan, and then he also got his own planet. And then after that, he came back home. After all this, he came back home. And then when he was older, he became the king. He was so powerful. And there was some mischief done by the sons of Kuber. So he killed them. He killed them all. There was a big battle. And then Kuber had to come and requested him personally, saying, please, Maharaj Dhruv, I know they are all criminals. I know my sons are criminals, and you are doing your duty as a king, but my whole dynasty will be finished. Please have mercy. So immediately what did Dhruva Maharaj do? He accepted. He accepted Kuber's request, and Kuber was so happy with Dhruva Maharaj's behavior. Kuber is the guardian of the wealth, right? Of the Devatas, right? He said, ask for a benediction. You have, kept my request. So ask for a benediction. So he has the treasury of the entire universe, Kuber. Dhruva Maharaj could have asked for anything. He could have just said anything. But what did he say? You're so kind. You're prepared to give me a benediction. Please give me this benediction that I may be attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. That was the benediction he wanted. Again, example of Tasmad Ekena Manasa. Then the third example we all know is Arjun, right? Arjun was a Kshatriya. He was not a coward. He was just very sympathetic towards his family. And he didn't want to kill them. He said, all my relatives, if I kill them, then what will happen? What have I got to gain? Yeah? Yeah, just give me a second, 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. So then if I kill them, what will I gain? So actually that is what happens, right? We work so hard, we accumulate money just so that we can show our relatives. So that's what he's saying, that, you know, how, so then Krishna said, how can you think like an ordinary worldly man? So then he understood and he did not hesitate. So what did he understand? His understanding was, okay, Krishna wants the fighting, that's fine. Then I will fight. But Krishna also said, my dear Arjun, what's your decision? He asked in 18.73, he says, Karishye vachanam tava. Karishye vachanam tava. What is your decision? So Arjun said, yes, I will fight. Why? Because Krishna wants the fighting. I do not want to fight, but Krishna wants me to fight. Therefore, I will fight. So then everybody was finished, right? Grandchildren, grandfathers, the Kauravas, the cousins, everyone. So in the same way, Krishna is very anxious that we are suffering here. We are rotting here in this material world. We are all children of Krishna. And he does not like to see this. He says, come back home, dance with me, eat with me, run with me, play with me. So that is the position. We are servants of the servants of Krishna. It is our duty also, not just going back ourselves, but to take the human civilization with us. Yeah. And how do we do it? Kirtaniya Sada Hari, by chanting. That is required. Your life has to be molded in such a way that every single moment there is Krishna consciousness. Not even a single moment you're without Krishna consciousness. And because you have made your life perfect by satisfying Krishna, samsiddhir haritoshnam, therefore you don't have to come back again and again in this material world and live like cats and dogs. So tasmad ekena manasa, concentrating fully, ekena, one pointed attention, no diversion. What do you have to do? You have to be Krishna conscious. Yes. Krishna is also very careful about his devotee. He also wants you to come back. Let's do the next verse. 1.2.15. Someone please repeat. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha.
Yad anudhyasina yuktaha.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Ko na kuryat katharatim.
Ko na kuryat katharatim.
So this verse says, cutting the knots. With a sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? Intelligent men, the sadhus, right? Devotees. With sword in hand. What is the sword? What does the sword indicate?
Bhakti.
Yes, bhakti, knowledge. Yes. Cutting the binding knots of reactionary work. So whatever work you do, action you take, they form knots and they bind you. Right? The contact of the spiritual spark with material elements creates a knot which must be cut if one wants to be liberated from the actions and reactions of fruitive work. Liberation means freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. This liberation automatically follows for one who constantly remembers the transcendental pastimes of the personality of God. Smaranam. But for Smaranam, there are two things you have to do before Smaranam. What is that? From Navavidha Bhakti. What comes before Smaranam?
Vishnu Smaranam.
What comes before that?
Shravanam Kirtanam.
Yes, yes, perfect. Shravanam and Kirtanam.
Kirtanam.
Hearing and chanting. Only then remembering will come. If you don't hear about the Lord, how will you remember his pastimes? If you don't do your chanting, you will not have attraction to hearing. So these three is the most important thing in the 9. 9 will follow. Lot of people focus on deity worship, archana. मुझे ये मंत्र आते हैं, मुझे वो मंत्र आते हैं, ये वाला आरती, वो वाला आरती. Very nice, beautiful. Deity worship also purifies you. But is that for Kali Yuga? What is for Kali Yuga?
Kirtanam. Kirtanam.
Correct. Can anyone give me a verse? Come on. Hare Naam.
Hare
Naam hi kevalam.
Nasteva
Hello, Naste.
Yes. So what is that 3? Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. Why 3 times?
Only this, only this, only this.
But
Nothing.
why 3 times?
Final conclusion.
To specify and drive it home totally and completely. Nothing else but Hare Naam will liberate you.
Chant, chant, chant. But I can't. Yeah? And then what? But give them YouTube. Oh, 5 hours they listen. Netflix, back to back. I binged throughout in the weekend. Ask them to listen to one class for 45 minutes. Oh, Mataji, I didn't understand. आप समझा दो ना. अरे मैं भी तो वही सुन रही हूँ. So therefore, how can you cut these binding knots? You can only do it by making a choice. Like Krishna asked Arjun, what is your decision? What is your choice? I have spoken. Now it's up to you. Everyone can only tell you this is what is the process. This is what you should do. But it comes down to choice. So if you want to be bound in these knots of karma, then you continue with your life. No problem. Enjoy. But if you have made a decision ki nahi, I want to take that sword of knowledge and do my Shravanam, my Kirtanam, and remember my Smaranam of the Lord, then these modes of material nature will not affect you because you're transcendental. You do any transcendental activities, it is above the 3 modes. Yes, we have to come to the platform of Sattva Guna because Sattva Guna will make it easier for you. All these 4 regulative principles, no onion, no garlic, oh my God, ISKCON people are crazy. Let me go to Buddhism. Usme to sab kha sakte hain, usme to sab pee sakte hain. I can do anything with life and I'm doing spiritual activity. But what is your goal? Can you cheat Krishna? Can you go above karma? Karma to milega hi milega. So if you really want to understand, then you must tasmad ekena manasa. And that choice has to be there. that yes, I will take this sword, cut these binding knots, and I will not pay attention to anything else except spiritual activities because I want liberation from material bondage. Do we have to specially endeavor for material liberation from material bondage? No. What does Srila Prabhupada say? It is a byproduct of devotional service. You don't have to do anything. You just do your chanting and your listening. Automatically smaranam will happen and automatically you will be liberated from material bondage. So you don't have to do anything. Oh, am I doing karma? Am I doing good karma? Am I doing bad karma? Automatically you will be in sattva gun. Right? Karma over-coated with devotional service is called karma yoga. Similarly, empirical knowledge over-coated with devotional service is jnana yoga. But pure bhakti is independent of such karma and jnana because it alone can not only endow one with liberation from conditional life, but also award one the transcendental loving service of the Lord in the spiritual world, in his association, in your true constitutional position. Therefore, any sensible man who is above the average man with a poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember Krishna, glorify him, hear him, remember him, worship him without cessation. That is perfect devotional service. And as usual, Srila Prabhupada again and again and again gives examples of the 6 Goswamis. And of course, all the other acharyas. But mainly, we focus on the 6 Goswamis because we are all Rupanugas. We have to follow Rupa Goswami. So, how they just left everything and they set up their base in Vrindavan because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction and wrote so many transcendental science books. So many different pastimes of the Lord, their different places were uncovered. We go for parikrama and vraja and we just like, oh, we're going here, we're going there. All these were uncovered by the Goswamis, right? We wouldn't even know where was Radha Kund otherwise. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did find out, but the other things were uncovered by them, not discovered, it's uncovered. Because they were covered and they uncovered it. And after that, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamanand Pandit, Vidya Baldev, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baldev Vidyabhushan, and also so many of our gurus in ISKCON. Even now you will find there are so many places being discovered by so many of the Swamis. If you see Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Indradumna Swami Maharaj, they keep uncovering new places of pastimes of the acharyas, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Nityananda Prabhu. So many things. Why? Because it's revealed to them by the Lord. Because they have dedicated their life. Right? So if you look at all these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, what did they do? They just, at 17 years and 20 years of age, you just leave everything and you take on a new culture. You've never even heard of Krishna. We were all born with Krishna stories, right? From our childhood, our grandparents used to tell us stories. We knew Krishna was part of our household. We knew that Dashara mein kya hota hai, Diwali mein kya hota hai, Ram Navami, what happens, this, that, everything. More than that, we knew what special sweets were made in each festival. But that was association of festival to sweets. We knew the stories. We're so lucky that as little infants itself, we were told stories of all these wonderful pastimes of the Lord. But they just dove in. You know why? Again, tasma dekene manasa. And they are also not ordinary. So they were all very, very exalted devotees of the Lord. where the Lord sent them to certain households, were born in that different nationalities and countries and different bodies for the purpose of unraveling the Krishna conscious movement in the world. So all those people who think Gora hai, ye hai, please let's get above this body consciousness, because this is not got nothing to do with the body. This is Krishna's movement. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So let's just dive. Tasmad ekena manasa is something you all should just meditate on till next week and try to make each day more for Shravanam, more for Kirtanam, more for Smaranam, worship of the Lord also. And this is, of course, World Holy Name Week. So you should be ideally chanting more, listening more, yeah, and obviously remembering more. So we'll stop for today, and thank you, Hare Krishna, for listening so patiently while I just rattled on. Any questions, any comments, please feel free.
So, Mataji, you mentioned at the beginning of class that we didn't choose Krishna consciousness. We were chosen.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. Yeah, it is bewildering, isn't it? That well, one thing we know, that not even a blade of grass can move without the Lord's sanction. When you read NOD, I'm sure you have read it, but I'm just telling the others who haven't. And if you have, sorry, I'm just being judgmental. So when we did the NOD, there is no pious activity. You can do 100,000 years or even 10 crore years or billions of years of pious activity and still not come to Krishna consciousness. The only thing which can give you Krishna consciousness is Sukriti, through a devotee. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Please take this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita very, 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 very seriously. It is that Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha which has brought you here. You were chosen. You were given that mercy by a devotee. And that's why you were born in a certain household where in the future you have come across Krishna consciousness. So you have, you of course have done piety to receive Sukriti. But Sukriti is, that's why we say devotees are desire trees. They're desire trees. And only through Sukriti can you come to Krishna consciousness. That's what Rupa Goswami says in the NOD. He's very clear about it. You can take how many ever dips in the Ganga. You can do how many ever yajnas. But if you do not have the mercy of a devotee, you will not get Krishna consciousness. Even Krishna can give you prema only after you get the devotee's mercy. The devotees have a very special role in your life. So catch on to their lotus feet, and whenever you see a senior devotee and very advanced devotee, take his association. Association does not mean going and sitting next to him and rubbing shoulders with him. It means listening to him very carefully and taking down his notes, his instructions. So if a guru gives the instructions to one disciple, because instructions are absolute, it is instructions for everyone. The same way, if some senior devotee is talking and giving instructions, anything coming from the lotus mouth of a devotee is absolute. So it is an instruction for everyone. No senior devotee will give you any instructions which is not good for your Krishna consciousness. So keep your ears open and do exactly how they say. You will see how fast you progress. You will just see how fast you progress. So you are not here by chance or by choice. But what you do after being here is your choice. Because after all, even in the spiritual world, there is free will. Free will is never taken away from you. Even in the spiritual world, you have the free will to move away from Krishna. That's what we did, and we came to the material world. If there was no free will, so Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Sandarbh that if there was no free will, then everybody would be forced to love Krishna. Then would that be love? No. Then Krishna is demanding, you love me. You love me. It is a free will. You want to love him. So therefore, you will love him. So even after getting the Sukriti, and if you are in Krishna consciousness, it is again your choice what you do with it, how much you want to succeed in it. It is again, like the Acharya says, it's your greed, lolyam, very important. Very important. How much greed do you have to get out of here? Frankly speaking, we don't want to leave. We don't want to go back home, back to Godhead. Don't be truthful to yourself, all of you. You're very comfortable in your life. छोटी मोटी बातें या small distresses. आज पानी नहीं आया, आज ये नहीं हुआ, कल वो नहीं हुआ, अरे उसको बुखार है, अरे उसको ये हो गया, अरे उसका डेथ हो गया, अरे वो हो गया. Small distresses, no? How long distresses? Go away. Actually, why don't we want to take that step? Because ask yourself, do you really want to go back home, back to God? Do you have that eagerness, that burning fire? Mujhe yahan se nikalo. I just want to get out of here. Krishna, want to be with you. How many of you think that? I don't. I'm interested in, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Where am I going in the weekend? Unless and until that feeling doesn't come, that comes only by chanting. Chanting is the only thing which can save us. So Mataji's, please, you can learn how many ever verses of Bhagavatam, you can learn how many ever verses of Bhagavad Gita. But if you're not doing your 16 minimum, if you don't have attachment to the holy names, you are not going to succeed. Because that is your secret for going to Golok Vrindavan. I hope that answers your question, Vishaka Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Answered much more. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone? Sab chup hai aaj. I think I was too heavy today.
Oh, there's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Baiji, is your hand up by accident?
Yeah.
No. I'd raised it, the first, I think I have to do it by myself, right?
Yes.
It is like, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Worries. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then any comments or realizations?
I would just like to share something that I heard recently, if that's okay.
Sure.
Just to remember why, Krishna is everything. This is from Amarendra Prabhu's lecture. He said, Krishna is our pati. He's our gati. So use our mati to become his rati.
Hari bol. Wow.
That's so beautiful.
Summarized everything.
Can you repeat, Vaiji Mataji?
Sorry? Sure. So Krishna is our pati. He is our gati. We need to use our mati to become his rati.
Beautiful.
Hare Krishna.
So beautiful.
I had one question more in terms of, see, I chant some rounds, but on a regular basis, I read the Bhagavad Gita also. Just in terms when I also, so basically what I do is in a day, I chant few rounds, then I listen to and try and chant the 108 slokas that you taught of the Bhagavad Gita. And I try and chant one chapter or something, related to Bhagavad Gita with my mom. My question to you is, because, to increase my chanting, my rounds, Ideally, I would like to increase my time to do all of these things and increase, I have 16 rounds of chanting as well. But sometimes, I'm not able to. So what would your advice be? Should I probably use the time to chant the 108 slokas for chanting the holy name, or because slowly I'm trying to increase. I'll get there because I want to do this again, I'm talking from my perspective because this gives me peace, although I know that Krishna wants chanting more. But frankly, I would ask your advice on what should I do, because that way I'll allocate this time for chanting as opposed to listening, because that also takes 30 minutes my time every day. So and between my work and all that, sometimes I kind of find it difficult. So the thing that gets hit is actually chanting.
That's a very, very wonderful question, because I'm sure this will help others also if they are also going through the same thing. But to answer that, I need to ask you 2-3 questions. One is, how many rounds are you chanting now?
So minimum in a day, I can do 4 rounds sitting in a place. Okay, and then when I'm traveling and all that, as many as I can. So Ekadasi, of course, it's 16 and above. Once, even 32, I was able to do a bit. That's what I would say. Minimum is like, you can keep it at 6 to 8 in a day.
Okay, so basically, you can chant 16, because if you're chanting on Ekadashi, you have you have taken out time to do that. And you're probably doing that because Ekadashi is a special day, and so that's one question. Second question is, what time do you wake up each morning?
See, it depends, it is like I hardly sleep sometimes, because telling Vishaka Mataji also, sometimes, I don't even sleep at all, certain days. So that's because of my hormonal this thing and all that. It's been very erratic. So there are times when I get up, 3:30, 4, I chant a few rounds and then go back to sleep. But otherwise, 5:30, 6 is when, I normally get up. But again, sometimes if I'm so tired, maybe I do a few rounds of chanting. Then again, take half an hour, 1 hour nap before I head off to work. So that is, and also, I just came back a month ago from the US. So completely, the jet lag and all that is also taking its, toll.
And when do you find the time to do the shlokas?
Shloka. So whatever time I get up, the first thing is I start listening to the shlokas and I start chanting, because I try and say Jayati Janani Vaso, because you've told me before getting out of the bed, that's the first thing. So as I'm getting out, I think about that, and then I put my earphones and start the 108 shlokas.
Okay, so if you're going to do that, I would suggest that you said you work. So you can do the 108 even while you're commuting, right? You can just hear it and
listen, right?
By now you already know. So I would suggest that if you're not able to sleep, Guru Maharaj had given us once this instruction that supposing you are not able to sleep and you wake up around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and what you do is you wash your mouth, you wash your hands, your feet, your face. You don't need to have a shower. You finish off your chanting. Right?
Okay.
You finish how much ever you wish to finish, and then if you want to go back to sleep, you go back. And then when you wake up, say 5:36, you say your Jayati Janani Vaso and whatever prayers. But instead of doing the 108, which takes half an hour, you can as well do 4 more rounds.
Okay.
And then while commuting, you can listen to your 108, because by now you just need to listen and keep chanting.
Right.
But the chanting of the Maha Mantra on the Tulsi beads is what is going to take you, that's your ticket to Golok.
Okay.
So I don't know if you all have seen, but there is a Goloka chart. And if you see from Bhuloka, there is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra going up as a creeper right up to Golok Vrindavan, to the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. And I keep telling this to my children also in my children's class, and also many others, that those who understand this, I know all of you must have read the Harry Potter. So this portal is open for 9,500 years only to go to Goloka. After 9,500, this portal, which is open, and the only password needed is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra chanted 16 times every day, will be open only for the next 9,500 years. If you miss this boat, you have to wait for the next Kalpa, for the 7th Manvantara and the 28th Yuga cycle to go to Goloka. And what are the chances you'll be born then? You can't choose, right? You're just going to be born that. So how much of a pious you have done, I mean, or how much of a, so what does Jayapataka Swami Maharaj say? He says that with your devotional service, if you've done half and you missed this, so at the end of this lifetime, you'll be going to Bhauma Swarga. So there's a Bhauma Swarga also, where you will live for 10,000 years. But when you come back after 10,000 years, the portal to Goloka has closed. And not only that, there's no more ISKCON. There are no devotees, there's no Kirtan, there's no Mahamantra. You'll be in the midst of the worst of Kali Yuga. If you think this is bad, no, that's going to be really bad. Then what do? Nothing. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So don't miss this portal, which is open for 9,500 years. Actually, for you, all of you in this Zoom, it's open for only the next 50 or 60 years. Because if you leave your body doing all this devotional service which you've done in this lifetime, you'll go to Bhauma Swarga. You'll come back after 10,000 years. It is going to still be Kali Yuga, but it's not going to be the golden period. There's no Prabhupada's mission. There's no ISKCON. There's no devotees. There's no Amarendra. There's no Vishakha. There's no one. We've all gone. The portal has closed.
No, Supriya Mataji.
So, do you want to miss the boat?
No, never.
That's a choice you have to make today, so that tomorrow you pick up your beads and chant your 16 rounds. Because the portal will allow you only if you have chanted your 16 rounds. Yeah. It's not going to ask you whether you know 108 Bhagavad Gita shlokas, which is very good. I'm not saying, please don't misunderstand me. Please don't misunderstand me. Yeah, because it says Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam Eva Kevalam. Otherwise, Lord Brahma would have written 108 Bhagavad Gita shlokas Eva Kevalam. Right? I'm not saying that Bhagavad Gita shlokas is not good. It's very good because it gives you remembrance of the Lord's instructions. It's absolutely important to wire your mind to chant. You need it. It's very important. I'm not undermining it. I wish I could do what you do. But I'm more attached to the holy names now because I understand the value of it. I've understood the value of it. Sorry. Lost my grammar also. So that is my suggestion to you, Veggie, is that you focus on the Maha Mantra. You've already memorized the 108. You need to just put your earphones and chant. You can chant it anywhere. You can chant it at any time. Take up those beads. Take up those beads. Clickers, please, those who have a habit of, anyone has a habit for using clickers?
I have clickers too. Somebody gifted it to me. I didn't.
That's fine. But just like you don't offer anything to the Lord without a Tulsi leaf, you offer your Maha Mantra also with Tulsi beads. Yeah, you need Tulsi Devi every way for your bhakti. So chant on your Tulsi Mala. Try to reach 16. You're not able to sleep, best time. Prabhu wakes up at 2 o'clock every day. I'm telling you, Prabhu wakes up. I wake up at 3:30 and I finish my chanting and then do my Mangala. But he wakes up at 2. He just can't sleep. So he finishes his chanting. He does it and then he goes back to sleep. And then he wakes up when I'm ready with my Mangala. He wakes up. He has the 1 hour power nap. So there's no problem in that. In fact, they say that your chanting before Brahma Muhurta has 10 times more effect. I mean, I'm sure you've heard Amarendra's class.
Yeah.
All of us have. So Radhe Shyam Prabhu also mentions that. Amog Leela Prabhu also mentions that. So sometimes it's a God's gift that you're hormonal. Use that time. You're hormonal. Yeah, everything you should see as a gift from Krishna. Yes, I can't sleep. I have hormonal problems. I wake up at 2. Great. I'll finish my chanting before Brahma Muhurat. 10 times more.
So is
And then
12
I'll-
also okay? Midnight also okay?
Yep.
Oh, great, because I can chant and then go to sleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can.
So it's
Mataji,
okay after
one more?
12, right? Mataji, not before 12. I mean, before
Why?
12. After
Before
midnight.
12, if you chant, you would have done 16 rounds for the previous day.
Okay.
After 12, you chant, you've done chanting for the next day.
Yes. Mataji, I've learned my 1.2.6. So do you want to listen to it?
Please. Yes.
So
Hare Krishna,
I'll
thank
just
you.
take a little help from this also. Savai punsam param dharma yator bhakti adhok saje ahetuki aprahata aprahata, which means
Apratihata.
apratihata, which means uninterrupted. We have to do uninterrupted devotional service. Yayatma suprasidati.
Wow. Jai ho. Hari bol.
Yeah.
Well done.
I think this is Madhavi, like a gold trophy for Neha, because just last class she was mentioning that she can't remember anything. What
Yeah.
she reads, she can't remember. What she hears, she can't remember. And what she writes, she can't remember. So
Yes.
ऐसे handicap के साथ अगर ये सुना रही है, मतलब बहुत बड़ा achievement है. So
Wow.
Mataji, there's a huge problem. You know, I read like you. I'm a voracious reader. You know, I must have read at least 15, 20 books of lately, from December to this time. But I just don't seem to remember anything. I've done Gita. I've heard Gita twice or thrice, but still I can't retain. And I'm doing my chanting and I'm doing everything, but still retention is not possible for me.
See,
Only spiritual retention. बाकी
there are
चीज़
two
याद रहती हैं. Spiritual retention. Yes, yes.
there are two things which will help you retain. One is a very simple way, external, which is external, is if you repeat it to someone. What you've heard, if you immediately go and repeat whatever you have absorbed, not that you have to repeat the whole class as is, whatever has, struck you. If you can do that, then you will retain it. Second thing is if you have realized it. One is Gyan and one is Vigyan. If you're just going to take Gyan, you won't retain it. But if you have a realization of that Gyan, then you will retain it. Like for example, today's verse, Tasmad ekena manasa. What have you taken away from it? What is your realization?
Mataji, I'm sorry that, though, I've listened to all your classes, past 4 classes I've listened to it, but in the middle of the class, some parent called me up and said that, my son is not well. So I had to, switch off the video and, take care of that. So I'll.
Okay, before the call, something? Before the call?
So after the call, probably, the way you said that, once you chant and once you hear, the remembrance is going to come to you. Once you chant and once you hear the remembrance, you start remembering Krishna. So I was just trying to put 2 and 2 together, that I'm chanting and I'm hearing, I'm doing a lot of kirtan also, but still that remembrance is not coming to me. And if you want to cut the bondage, then probably you have to do it by chanting and by remembering Krishna. That is how you can cut the bondage and you can reduce your karma.
So chanting and hearing, you're not remembering is because you're not focusing. So you're trying too hard, probably.
But when I read something, I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Oh my God, this is so amazing. But then, you know what? After a period of time, it just vanishes.
So do one thing, whatever you read, make points and share it with someone. You should also have, see, in school, we have buddies, right?
Yeah.
So Vishaka Mataji, give her a buddy. Give her a buddy. Whatever she reads, she makes, say, 2 points, 3 points, 5 points, how much ever. Right? You make points and you send it to that person. And if that person doesn't understand what you're sending, Then she will message you, then you have to explain also.
All right. I'll send it to Veenu.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Try this out. Not only will you remember, but see, it should not be rote. What I'm trying to say is, there is gyan and there is vigyan. There is knowledge and then there is realization. So when you're sending these 2 points or even 1 point or how many ever points, it should be your realization. So supposing, let's say for this class, you should cut the knots of karma with chanting, hearing and remembering. So your realization should be that what should I chant? What should I hear? How can I remember? Right? So how are you going to apply it is a realization. I can just say chant here and that is just gyan. What points you share should be a realization of how you can apply it. Then you will remember it by association. Right?
Like you did the Harry Potter example. So
Yes.
that's the application, right?
Yes.
The wonderful thing, for the kids to connect.
Yes. Even you can connect, right? Because
Right.
I'm sure you've read Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the
Right? And
portal.
we all have seen also this portal in movies.
Yeah.
But just imagine there's a beautiful lotus, a white lotus, which is a portal to Goloka, which is open. And it's there for you. All you have to do is your 16 rounds.
My God.
Is it so difficult, Matajis?
Special.
Is it so difficult?
Very
It's
special.
not. It's not. So let's just, tasmad ekena manasa, let's just do it. And not only do it for ourselves, how many ever we can, we should take with us. Yeah, this is Krishna's, this is Srila Prabhupada. You all are Srila Prabhupada's soldiers. We are all in his army. We can't go alone. We have to take our families, we have to take our friends, we have to take everyone. Who wants to rot here? Not me.
Hare Krishna, Supriya Mataji, I have a meeting at 5:30.
Go, darling, go. Hare Krishna. Don't
Hare
wait.
Krishna.
You just leave. We know that you have a meeting every Monday. You just leave. Don't wait.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very.
I was not willing to actually miss even a bit of it.
Okay.
5:30 I waited and now I will immediately switch to my meeting.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's good.
What else? Anything else?
It's very inspiring, Mataji.
Very inspiring. Yes, it
Though
is.
though I'm doing 16 rounds, but yeah, sometimes with not full attention.
That will also come. How? How will that come?
More chanting. More chanting.
By focusing.
You should realize that you cannot do anything on your own.
Yeah.
Sadhu,
You have to
sadhu.
beg for Krishna's, for Lord Chaitanya's mercy. You cannot do anything on your own, I'm telling you. I'll chant nicely, I will chant nicely, I will chant more than I will chant better, I will read, I will chant. Fine. But you beg. Before you chant, when you chant the Panchatattva, when you chant your Srila Prabhupada's pranati, when you chant, of course, we chant our Guru's pranati, and then we get into, of course, Guru Maharaj now, he chants so many of those verses now. So he chants even the Shikshashtakam and the Shad Goswami Ashtakam before chanting his rounds. Why? We're begging for mercy from the Gurus, from the Acharyas, from the Shad Goswamis, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from Krishna, from Radha. And then we get into the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You must understand this concept that you are not capable of even chanting your own rounds yourself. That surrender must come.
Yeah.
That Trinadapi Sunitena Tarorapi Sahishnuna must come into your chanting. Every time you pick up your beads, you must say, please help me remember you. Please let me serve you. I want to be the servant of the servant of the servant. I don't even want to be near you. Just accept me as somewhere in the end of the line, but accept me. Once that comes, then your chanting will get better and you will hear more. What do we try to do? We try all sorts of gymnastics. You think about, oh, I will think about Krishna and I will think about his flute and I will think about this and I will think about. No, don't do all these gymnastics. Just focus on the names, how nicely your voice sounds when you take the names of the Lord. Whether the Hare is clear, whether the Krishna is clear, whether the Rama is clear. And automatically remembrance will come. You focus on the sound. That is what you're meant to do. Don't do all these kinds of gymnastics. I will focus on this and I will focus on that. No need. No need. So then your chanting gets better. If in case your chanting one day dips, think about what you did the previous day. Make notes, maintain a diary. Today my chanting was not good. Think what you did the previous day. Were you too much in material association? Were you in Jana Sangha? Were you watching too much of TV? Were you reading things unnecessary? Or did you do any aparadha unknowingly? Make notes for yourself. No one needs to know. It's for you. It's for you. Make notes. Maintain a diary. And then you should, oh, maybe that's why. The day you japa is very good. Again, make notes. What made it so good? Oh, maybe I attended some senior devotees class. Oh, that was very nice. Oh, maybe I listened to this bhajan. Maybe I listened to this kirtan. Maybe I spoke to a devotee. Maybe I thought of a devotee. Maybe I read something nice. Make notes and then repeat that. Repeat that again for the next day. Repeat, repeat. The day your chanting is bad, go back to when it was good and see what you did. Repeat that for the next day. So this is, Krishna consciousness is work in progress every day. You have to be very alert to your own sadhana. No one else can do it for you. We can only give you techniques and methods and everything. But only you can know. See, it's your mind, it's your heart. You know what your mind has gone through. उसको तो ना खीर भी बनाना नहीं आता, पता नहीं इतना कम चीनी डाल दिया. Gone. Next day, chanting is gone. All you said was, उसको खीर ठीक से नहीं बनाना आता, थोड़ा और उसमें चीनी डाल देती. Judgmental, no? Next day, chanting gone. Instead of that, oh, wonderful prasadam. You know, oh, I got this beautiful prasadam. बहुत अच्छा था. Chanting goes up. Simple. मैंने उसको बोला था पूरियां लाने, वो तो रोटी लेके आई. Gone. Chanting gone. Don't we do this? We do it. Be honest. Of course we do this. वो कुछ नहीं लेके आई, ऐसे आ गई खाली हाथ.
हम बच्चों के ऊपर भी हमारे घर पे होते हैं. Kids are there at home. Sometimes we shout at them. That also affects.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, sometimes as parents, we have to be strict. We have to, you know, discipline them. But of course, they are also devotees. They are also children and they also have Paramatma. But we cannot go without disciplining. So a parent, that is a father, a mother and a guru can chastise. So you don't get karma for that. Don't worry. So
I like that idea, Mataji, to write down in
Yes.
diary what has happened earlier when it comes.
I maintain a diary. I've been maintaining a diary since January now. And I don't write every day. Honestly, I don't know what to write every day. Once in a while, I do write. And it's always addressed to my deities. Dear Dayal Nitai Gaura Hari. That's what I start with and I end with thank you. So I do maintain it and I've seen it helps a lot. It helps a lot. A lot. So you can do that too. So you have to be very alert. I mean, the gist of this is Krishna consciousness is easy. But at the same time, there are forces which will make it very difficult. And that force is Maya. Right? She knows exactly, I think I've spoken about this in the past also. She knows exactly your weak spot and she'll keep focusing on that. So be alert.